Wix Studio, one end-to-end web creation platform for your agency to deliver exceptional work with absolute efficiency.
The #1 long-form writer that helps SEOs outrank competition at the click of a button using real-time research and NLP. Start ranking content today with contentatscale.ai.
Hello, Brighton. How are we all feeling? I know it's been a long day. I appreciate everyone being here. I hope no one's too hungry after lunch or just thinking of the next drink, but I appreciate if you are. We've got some slide stuff going on here, but we're going to be fine. I'm just going to start clicking. I'm here to talk about killer content and multi-channel magic, a very chaotic how-to guide. And if you're wondering, how is it chaotic? You're here at Brighton. I'm wearing a Halloween skirt. It's September. But we move. These are some things about me. This is why I'm chaotic. My life is a bit chaotic. My work is a bit chaotic. And my career has been a little bit chaotic. So for 8 years, I've been in marketing, but all over the goddamn shop. I've been writing, I've been emailing, I've been social. I've done a lot of bullshit, let me tell you. But having done all that bullshit for so long has really helped, weirdly, because it's helped me see the value of the whole multi-channel, omni-channel funnel nonsense. So when I finally slid my way down that funnel to where I am now, which is content, and content I'm very, very happy with, and in a place I'm very happy, which is Connective 3, and shout out to my beloved team, the best in the business. Love you guys. You're out there somewhere, I can't see you. It really has helped to take my content strategy to the next level. And at C3, I've made some big moves. Like 3 years ago, I was a content writer. I'm now a senior content strategist. And that's not me just being like flex. That's because I think, one, I've had some great opportunities, but two, the things that I've learned across my career have helped me to kind of see the bigger picture when it comes to content. I don't just look at keywords and, oh God, this is sounding really like, guys, I'm phenomenal. What I'm saying here is that, no, I'm not saying you can have this exact career path, but learning a little bit more about where content can go beyond just the page, that's amazing. So yeah, big moves, but also big challenges. I feel this guy very strongly some days. Mood. And to be honest, a lot of the time, that's because I work with clients who don't necessarily see the value of content, despite having paid for some content. And we suddenly get struggles of like, well, we can just do some tech SEO, and then why do we have to pay for content? Why do we have strategy time? How is that different? Obviously, I'm heavily biased, but it's frustrating when this happens. And a lot of kind of the stuff that I've learned is dealing with that. And that's what I'm here to help with a little bit. So I firmly believe that researching, auditing, writing content makes your job easier, makes your brand better, and whether you're in-house like I used to be or agency side like I am now, it makes your life, your services kind of stickier, and it helps you to sell in your strategy by showing that you understand your content and what it can do. Which I like to say, content puts the fun in top of funnel. I came up with this pun like on a Friday morning. I was so pleased with myself, and then I just sat there and thought about my choices and my puns. But here we are. So again, that struggle. We need the client, or if you're in-house, you need your marketing team, your manager, whoever, to see that there's worth in doing content. You're here at Brighton SEO. I assume you think there's some value in doing it, but if you need a bit of help in selling it in, then it really helps to remember that it's not just on page, it's an opportunity. I think as SEOs, we have a very bad habit of doing this, of like just putting something up and then being like, do something, go on, do something. And it's great if it does. Obviously, all we really want is featured snippets and incredible rankings, and I'm so scared I'm gonna throw this, so I'm sorry if I do. But if you can prove that your content has a life across the channel beyond just ranking and organic visibility, that makes it easier to get a sign-off in the first place. It helps you connect up to other services, and it helps to build the brand. Again, in-house, agency side, it doesn't matter. And when it comes to proving the value of that content, I think it really helps to remember that content, God, I'm setting some sort of world record for saying that the amount of times in 20 minutes, but content is the two things that everyone really wants to be. Sexy and fully aligned with overall business goals. So when we look at content, so how we kind of work it in my team, before you've written a single word, before you've done anything, one, you're a damn good writer because you wouldn't be writing content otherwise, but you've also done all your work. You've done, a ton of keyword research, you've done SERP analysis, you've done competitor analysis, you've done so much data stuff, you've done so much analysis and thought and insight and all of it, but you're also trustworthy, and your content is written with expertise, and it's got the right tone of voice, and you understand the brand because you have to, because otherwise the client's going to go, no. The client might still go, no, but at least you tried. But before you've done anything, you've done all of this stuff. And then once you have it, it's there. So if you're going to take pictures of slides, they'll say the important bit at the top. So don't underestimate the power of content living in that space between brand and performance. People do all the time, and they shouldn't, because, okay, yeah, every kind of marketing is like a little bit brand, a little bit performance, but content is easy to sell into people when you explain, this is what your customers are looking for, this is what they want to talk about, this is what they're searching for. It's not academic, it's specific. You can talk about the different sectors or some really, really nice sort of nitty-gritty little keywords, and that's great. That can really help you connect with someone, a client or a manager or whoever. And as part of that, it's important to remember that those two little cats, data-driven doesn't have to mean dull, aka why I love content audits, even though content audits hate me. Your content strategy means, like I said, you'll know your brand, you'll know your customers, and you'll know your missed opportunities. And you'll know this through the power of audits, which, for me, I have ADHD. I got diagnosed this year. Woo. But I really don't like audits. I really don't love sitting with a huge list of URLs and going through them and seeing what's going to happen, but it's so, so important and so, so powerful when you do it. And I think we tend to treat it as like a thing that you do, and then you just kind of put it to the side. Don't do that. The insights you'll get from auditing work, whether it's already on site or kind of laying the groundwork for everything else, it's so important, and it really helps you to dig in a way that other sort of, for me, like other parts of our business don't do necessarily. So very quickly, some of my absolute favorite insights when I'm doing auditing is looking at this sort of stuff. So looking at those weird little blogs, those weird little unicorn blogs that do an amazing job for no real reason. Why is that? Dig into that. Are you missing a trick somewhere? Are you looking at your intent? Are you seeing those really niche little keywords that you're picking up on but you're not really capitalizing on? And then my personal favorite here, D&D nerd, role-playing your customer journey. Pretend you're looking at your website. Have you got content for every stage of that funnel? It might feel a bit redundant, and obviously we're not doing content for content's sake. But if you're missing something, if you've got one really sort of big opportunity that you're missing out there, you're the person that's probably going to spot it because you're in the detail. You're literally looking at the URLs page by page as you're auditing. So doing a deep dive into your content will help you find the data that helps you understand the brand, the customers, what they're engaging with, what they're not engaging with, what you've wasted time on in the past and you don't need to do anymore. The next one, again, chaos. I was putting these slides together and I was like, oh, that's a nice PowerPoint graphic. And then I made it my life. So this is what I call the content flower, just because it helps me more than a list. I don't like lists. I want to love lists, but I don't love lists. I will talk to anyone that will listen about how brilliant content is, how much it can be used across the channel, how passionate I am, yada, yada, yada. Anyone, don't start me. I'll just keep going. But I think it's really easy to forget it, especially when it comes to things like SEO, because content is SEO. We all know this. But I think it's easy to kind of get caught up in the day-to-day and the detail, and tech SEO are doing one thing, and content is doing another thing, and your paid team's over there, and God knows where marketing are, design, who knows. There's a lot, and it's very easy to lose sight of all that stuff. But when it comes to SEO, it's so important that your SEO work and your content work are one and the same, that you're tied up, you're doing the same thing. Because if content is the lifeblood of the site, then tech SEO is the beating heart that's getting it where it needs to go. So if you've got insights and you're not sharing them, and if they don't know what you're doing and they can't be building links and recommending content, all that sort of stuff, they've got to work together. All of this stuff has got to work together. So just a few top tips, a few ideas, a few things that I found work really, really well. When it comes to SEO, you are looking at the macro level. You're finding those new opportunities. You're finding them early. My beloved SEO friends who are doing all the tech stuff day in, day out, they're busy. They've got clients going, this category's down, that category's down. Why aren't we doing this? They're not having a chance to really dig in to the small SERPs and the small keywords. They're discounting stuff if it's got 10 keywords search volume. And that's fine, because they're busy, but that's what we're there for. We're there to do the macro work and the detail work. We're there to create evergreen SEO content, and we're there to really just kind of power things up a little bit. And it might seem like a big investment, but if you talk to your SEO team from the start, figuring out where you're going to go after you've done a bit of tech SEO, after you've fixed all of your sort of site issues and canonicals and stuff, what's next? What's after that? And that's where content comes in. And it's important to remember as well that SEO content is the brand. I think it's really easy to think I do it all the time. I'm like, oh, there's SEO content and there's brand content. No. Yes, brand content might be a little bit shorter, a little bit snappier or whatever, but at the end of the day, someone's touch point with your brand is your copy, is your content, no matter where they're finding it on the SERP. So it's really important to not kind of think of it as this is just something I'm doing for SEO. You have to get your tone of voice right, you have to get your branding right. So use that power and use that to help it sell in things and use it to talk about it more. If you have a PR team, if you're working in-house and doing your own PR, then God be with you. But it's really important to, again, remember the power of content. We'll see the kind of detail of what's getting the click-through rate and what keywords are up and coming and what's not working. And we can use that and pass it across to our lovely in-house PR team and drive some relevancy. No sort of random campaigns. You really drive stuff that's tight, that's relevant, that's intensely good for the brand. We can create evergreen content. Don't just throw a PR blog and, again, point at it until it does something. You add keywords. You tie it in with your site structure. You recommend that when you're doing brainstorms. From the very, very start of it, you're doing all that sort of stuff. And that makes it even better in the long run for everyone. And then just a really simple one. Use insights from a content team. You have so much knowledge and awareness of content that you're writing and everything that you're doing. So use it across. Don't just put it on a blog. If you think you've got a really good, snappy meta title, recommend it for a PR campaign. Really boost those open rates. Whatever you sort of can do, start talking to one another. It really, really does help. Marketing. Everything's marketing. But whether you're B2B or B2C, there's so much you can do from a content point of view because you're so in that detail and so in that brand, and you talk to legal and compliance and whoever. You're doing so much all of the time, so use that awareness and use that knowledge. Create case studies if you're doing B2B. Look at those really sort of niche interests and things that no one else in your industry is talking about at the moment, and write a case paper on how you did that. That's great. And then, obviously, huge stuff. If you've managed to spend a whole talk about email marketing, so really push your content out there. The whole point of this little content flower is let stuff bloom. Content is the beginning, but where can it go from there? And it can go anywhere, pretty much. So if you've written a great blog and you've really put hours into doing the research and you've come up with some great insights and you've done the goddamn work, don't just let it sit there on a blog. Push it out into email marketing, do something with it, make it a content marketing campaign, because those insights are fascinating and relevant and useful and helpful and all the stuff that, I almost said, my team rips me all the time. I say Daddy Google it. It's a really bad habit, but that's what Daddy Google wants. And that's what Daddy Google gets. This is going to live with me forever, but that's fine. Your content can be content marketing campaigns easier than you might think because you're driving those kind of insights and that kind of interest. Social, it's a big part of marketing, it's a big part of everything. We could be here for another hour just doing this part of things, but it's really important to remember that we're not just content for content's sake, and we're not just content on a little part of the website. We can touch, and we should touch everything. So using your insights from content and pushing that to social, and then vice versa, making sure that if you've got something that's really kicking off on social, hey, have you thought about looking for some blogs and some keywords on this? All of a sudden, you're off the races, you've got a whole new content cluster that you didn't have before. E-E-A-T. Are we saying eat? Are we saying E-E-A-T? I don't know. But yeah, cross-link your stuff. I love it more than anything else when a client's like, oh, we have this person on social who like wrote something. Can we like make a blog out of that? And I'm like, yes, we can. As long as there's keywords behind it, as long as there's something relevant behind it, we're literally demonstrating someone's lived experience. What could possibly be better? And then social search. If someone sees you on TikTok or Instagram, make sure they can find you again. When they've forgotten to scroll back up and then Instagram just whisks it away, make sure that if they're searching for something, they can find you. And then paid. Not always a natural link up with content and SEO and all of that stuff, but it's so important. We've used content for retargeting to audiences, and it's been really powerful. We had a piece on walks in North Yorkshire, which sounds like a whatever fluff piece, but when we used that for our housing client, it did an amazing job because it was that kind of lifestyle that people were looking for that our client was selling. And if we hadn't talked to the paid team, we wouldn't have been able to do that. So this is the point of kind of blooming your content out a little bit. It's really powerful. And things just like thinking about if you're working alongside your paid team, where are you doing well organically and where are they struggling for cost per click? Can you be smarter with that? It's a big job, I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of spreadsheets and a lot of Excel work, but it's worth doing. And then using content talent. I bang on about it all the time, but if you're writing ad copy, if you're doing smart little snippets, if you've got content who can say, actually, we have found that when we use this in a meta title, it really helps. When we write this in a heading, it really seems to do well. Push that information out there. They're not going to know unless you tell them or unless you ask. So for every piece of content you audit, that you create, think about how you can, think about that bullshit little flower that I created randomly one day and put that piece of content in there and think, right, okay, for that, where could we go? And don't be limited by those little 5 petals. It could be anything. Anything you're doing in-house, anything you're doing in your agency, anything at all. Look at that piece of content and think, actually, we're doing some stuff on TikTok and maybe that would be helpful. Do it. I promise you, you won't be disappointed in the results. Help it to bloom. My slides are hopefully up on Speaker Deck, so if you've enjoyed them, go enjoy them again. And if you want to chat about any of this, come see me at the Connective 3 stand. We're big, it's beautiful, it's red. Thank you for not killing me for using my own branding just randomly because I got carried away. But yeah, that's been me. I hope my insane passion came across and you all forgive me for saying sexy and daddy Google, which I just did again. So that can stay between me and 1,000 people. That's fine. And that's me.
Monthly reporting making you want to shove sharp things up your nose? Try Dragon Metrics, the all-in-one SEO software with mind-blowing reporting tools.